great tool to use to review if you want to use this in that way. And then we've got the bundles are built into the road guide as well, how to build those bundles. An abbreviated version of what you went through in your books yesterday, along with some examples. And what I want you to notice first is find your way to the example that matches your trade. Plumbing, page 7, electrical, page 9, HVAC, page 11. And put a sticky note or something in that page so that you can find your way back to it. You're welcome to use, as we're practicing today, you're welcome to use this as your summary of findings for the sake of your practice exercise. Which means all of the customer information's been filled in already, you know, what you talked about with them. In addition to that, your options have already been built. Okay? So you want to familiarize yourself with that a little bit. You don't need to do that exactly right now. We'll get you there. But that's yours to use to just as a cheat, just to get us through that without having to actually sit down and write down options. All right? Clear? With that in mind, let's move forward to page 14 and get our eyes on a curbside evaluation form. What we're going to do for the next hour or so, hour and a half, we're going to work in the groups that we're in. These are going to be your videotaping groups. Okay? So these are the people you're going to go into the rooms wherever we go off and split off and do the videotaping. This is your group. And we're going to spend some time with some focused practice. We're going to take them apart. We're going to do greet, explore, and present separately. Those are the 3 steps that we're going to do in front of the video camera. So we're going to practice them, get a chance to just get everything out of the way, and then actually have a chance to practice some of these in front of the group. So not the whole group, but your group. So to get a feeling of what that feels like, to get feedback from others. And what I want you to pay really close attention to is what you get in terms of learning as you're observing others doing it. Your job is to give them feedback, constructive feedback, so that they can get better each time. But watch what happens in your own mind, in your own learning, as you observe your peers doing this. This is the power of today. Because you're going to see someone do something and you'll be like, dang, that's brilliant, I love that. You're going to see other things, you're going to say, yikes, I don't know if I'd say it exactly like that. Right? And that stuff is going to stick with you. That's way more powerful than all the other practice that we've done. And then we're going to take that up yet another level when you get in front of the video cameras and we do that whole level of practice. All right, so right now, instead of focusing on, oh no, I want to be ready for video cameras, get all of that focus taken away from yourself and on the people at your table. So that's it. Just make sure they're doing their job. If they're missing something, let them know what they're missing and help them along. All right? Yes?
Do we let them know they're missing something or doing something that they can be doing a little better at that time, or do we let them finish?
I would let them finish. In these early rounds of practice, you could stop them midway and say, look, we should go do this instead, let's put this in. That's okay. As you're getting further into it, you're going to want to let them go through it and then give them the feedback. Right? And just watch. Again, when you see somebody miss confirming the intent to do the work today, someone misses that, and then you point it out, watch everyone else hit it. Just because we've had that learning experience. So that's what others are doing for you today. That's what your job is to do for them today. Take your focus off of yourself. Right now you've got 3 or 5 other people at your table that are focused exclusively on getting you to look awesome today. That's it. Just focus on others. Can you do that?
Yes.
All right. Let's go through the greet step and then get immediately into a practice. So the steps of the greet are, check to see if the truck is parked okay, ask permission to enter. Put on the shoe covers. And again, for bonus points, hand them your book while you're putting on the shoe covers. Right? Give them something to hold so that you've got 2 hands free to put on the shoe covers. Establish a personal connection with the customer. This is that thing we're talking about, that's their hobbies, their habits, whatever things that are important to them. For some of us, it's kids, pets, they got some fancy car in the driveway, whatever it is that you can connect with them on, that's what we're looking to connect with here. And again, as we said when we practiced this the first time, this is genuine interest is key here. Don't talk about something you're not actually interested in. And if it doesn't happen at the front door, don't force it. All right? So if I'm standing in the greet step and I literally have nothing, I don't feel that connection's there yet, and there's still some barrier between the customer and I, allow yourself to get through the greet step, and somewhere in the explore step where we begin to see more of what that customer's world is about, you're going to find that thing. Is that clear? We're not forcing it in the greet step. It shows up in the curbside in the greet step because this is where we start looking for it. And at any point through the rest of the call, we gotta get here. Explore step is definitely where it's gotta happen if we don't get it into the greet. We're too late in the present to start establishing a connection. That's clear, right? Yeah, all right. So, show concern for the customer's feelings and interests. That's just acknowledging that they have a problem. Man, that must be frustrating. Sorry that you're having this happen to you today. It sounds like something that you want to get fixed today, right? That's our confirm the intent. So we're going to demonstrate expertise. Dispatch says you got a problem with your air conditioner. When's the last time this happened? Dispatch says you got a problem with a circuit that's tripping at your kitchen. How many things were plugged in and out? Has this happened before? How often does it happen? A couple of little questions like that, like, okay, great, that gives me a really good place to know where to start. And that just demonstrates your expertise. This sounds like something that you want to get fixed today. That's confirmation of intent, right? Yes, definitely. And that's key. That's a big piece of this. If you want to highlight in your road guide, that's one in the greet step that I would definitely put a little star beside or highlight. Confirm customer intent. It's massive. It's almost in that top 5 list that we created yesterday, the five critical elements. In the greet step, however, I'll take the agenda. If we don't get confirmed intent, I'll take the agenda. That's the more important one between the two of them. And then we're going to address the service partner plan status. You're not a member of our home care club, that's fine. We'll talk more about that later. And then we're going to set our expectations. And you see there's a small version of the agenda there. That's just a visual reminder to go back and use this. So 100% of all of our practices today, when we're doing the greet step, will include this visual aid. All right, so I want us to flex the muscle of practicing with this. So we're pointing along and saying this, and then we're just going to do what we said. Okay? So setting that expectation means look at the situation, do a thorough evaluation, ask questions, provide options, get your approval, do the work today. Does that sound okay? Yeah. All right, so that's the first 5 boxes, right? And then the 5-star service. Created a 5-star expectation. And use your own words to do that. My goal is to provide 5-star services today. If there's any point in the call where you feel like that's not happening, please feel free to let me know. And then say that. Okay? So right now, we're practicing the greet and only the greet. So we're not worrying about we're not actually going to get past the front door. Once we've set the agenda and the customer says, yep, that sounds awesome. All right, show me to the garbage disposal. That's where you stop. Is that clear? So no explore, no present. Focus only on one step at a time. Let's get good at it. This is the easy one. So this is a nice little warm-up round is what this is. Right? Get our heads back into the game. This has been a day and a half since we looked at this thing. So let's get a look at this again. Let's get ourselves warmed up and get into this game. What questions do you have about the greet step before we begin?
I do just have a comment. I was practicing all night with my wife last night.
Awesome.
She said that when I handed her the agenda,
Yep.
it made her feel like help. Like, oh, I hired you to do this, I'm not helping you. That's
Okay.
just one of the things she brought up to me.
Okay. All right, that's an interesting observation.
Absolutely.
I think though, when you're doing something with a consumer, they're intuitively going to be nosy. So when you're handing them something that you personally have in your hand, to them for just a split second, can you hold this for me for just a second? They're going to go,
Right.
you know, so I think that maybe the context of you and your wife sitting in the house, you know, is just so much different
Right.
than what the context will be when you will be knocking on the front door. I don't think that you'll be confronted with that.
Okay.
And I think that's fair. And as I was doing my search through my head, I was going through the hundreds of customers that I've done this with and have seen this done with. And I have not, I was looking for that to see, has that actually happened to me that I just didn't notice it? And I have not felt that from anyone. So we keep our eyes open for it for sure.
I did it last night, and Lady didn't look at it, but she was glad we had that.
Right.
So she did take it. Yeah, she said, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
She didn't look at it.
Yeah, I've had no one ever resist that. And everyone glances at it. I mean, that's, maybe we should.
Well, she might help out, I was
Yeah.
putting my shoe cover.
Right. Right, and that's the thing, so I remove eye contact at that point, because I'm putting on my shoe covers, right? And I want them to have a moment to just look at it. Like, it's just, what it communicates is such transparency, that right, like this guy's just handing me his stuff, like they're hiding nothing, right? Like that's, and then you're going right back to it, and pointing at the pictures,
That's what I like about it.
so, yeah.
And then